Hello, movie lovers. I'm Adam from Does It Hold Up?
And I'm Emily.
And over the last 2 weeks on our podcast, we've been discussing movies that are based on video games. 2 weeks ago, we covered 1995's Mortal Kombat, and just earlier this week, we covered 2001's Lara Croft Tomb Raider. And then we started to notice, man, there's been a lot of movies based on video games. Super Mario Bros. 1993, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, the Resident Evil games, a second Lara Croft movie, a third, that was remade in 2018. We just had the new Super Mario Brothers movie come out. We've had Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and Sonic the Hedgehog 2. But what video games are they missing? And I don't mean the typical ones, like God of War, Halo, Last of Us, what else? Horizon Zero Dawn. No. Those will probably be made into movies or TV shows within a couple of years.
No doubt.
But Emily, what are we doing today?
Today we are pitching our own video games turned into movies. We are picking video games that we've played and loved and giving you a brief synopsis of the movie that we want, who we'd cast in the roles, and any other things that we have prepared for you.
Absolutely. Let us know in the comments below what you think of our pitches. What video game do you want to see turned into a movie? And right now, we're going to get started. With Emily, what game do you want to see turned into a movie?
I want 2021's Life is Strange True Colors. This is a story following a 18-year-old girl who has empathic abilities to hear, feel, and affect people's emotions as she's learning how to use her powers and getting back with her family when tragedy strikes. The movie that I would like follows a similar pattern to the video game. We're cutting out a few, I think, unnecessary aspects to it, some characters, some side plots, but this is the movie that I would want. Alex is reunited with her brother Gabe after many years apart. While trying to get adjusted into this new life, however, Gabe is killed under mysterious circumstances. Now it's up to Alex, using her empathic abilities, to find out what really happened that night. Was it a terrible accident like Typhon, the main mining company in the area, says, or did some of the people she's come to know and like have a hand in it? It's a big mystery on what's happening, why is it happening, and who did it, if anyone did it. And this is the cast that I would do for this. So Alex and Gabe are portrayed as having an Asian background, and I wanted to honor that in this. So I picked Lana Condor from To All the Boys I've Loved Before or Moonshot to be my Alex. I think she would be able to play that, like, uneasy bit pretty well. For Gabe, I chose Ross Butler from 13 Reasons Why or Shazam. He's a little bit older than her. I think he would play that lovable big brother character.
Who is he in Shazam?
He is the avatar for one of the kids.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah. Then we have a few of the people from around the town, and that includes Mac, who I cast as Dylan O'Brien.
Who's Mac? How is he into this story?
Mac is one of the people we're looking at as to why he died. He's a suspect.
Okay.
Dylan O'Brien is mostly known for Maze Runner or American Assassin. I think he can do kind of goofy, but also like on edge pretty well. Then we have Ethan. This is a young boy that's attached to Gabe. That's actually what gets him killed, is some of the actions that this kid goes through. So I chose Ian Armitage from Young Sheldon. I think he can play that nerdy kid well enough that is also lovable. Then we have Jed, who is a parent figure to Gabe and Alex, but also kind of suspicious at the same time. I chose Stanley Tucci from The Lovely Bones or Devil Wears Prada. He's normally a side character. I really want to give him more of a role in this one.
Who's helping Alex? So you named a suspect, somebody who was involved in the accident, and then Jed, who was a father figure. Does Alex have any, like, people supporting her?
Yeah. That was the last one I was getting to. Yeah,
checking.
That is Ryan, and I chose Cole Sprouse, who actually co-starred in Moonshot with Lana already, but he was also in 5 Feet Apart. He is super lovable, and that character is somewhat of like a love interest, but also helping her in this endeavor.
Cool.
For directing, I wanted to get someone who can do the mystery, but also kind of keep it lighthearted. And so I chose Paul Feig. He's done things like Bridesmaids, The School for Good and Evil, but he also did A Simple Favor, which I actually thought was really good on the tension. I think he would do well. And then the last thing I want to say is I want to do this for about $25 million. It's not like the most all-star cast, but there is some visual effects that would need to be done with her abilities.
Because she can see auras, right? That's how she knows what people are thinking. It's not just that she feels it. She can literally see the auras around people.
Yeah, they are different colors and stuff like that based on their emotion.
Very cool. I've never played the game. I played the original Life is Strange, and it was traumatizing enough that I've never gone back to that series of games and never will. So I'd be interested in seeing what that is all about.
What movie would you make?
So the game that I want to see turned into a movie is Spyro the Dragon from 1998, the PlayStation 1 game.
Okay.
But also, he's got a whole lineage of games as well. And I think I cheated just a little bit with this, because I'm not taking any of the video games and turning them into a movie. I'm just taking Spyro the character and putting him into a movie.
Okay.
And here's my movie. An obsessive fan, played by Elijah Wood, who has been playing Spyro since the first game in 1998, has found a way to bring the titular dragon into the real world to own as a pet. Interesting. Yes.
Yeah.
With the help of his 2 friends, played by Joe Manganiello and Henry Cavill, who are 2 huge nerds in real life, and I think they're probably fans of Spyro, I'd have to ask. With the help of those 2, he kidnaps Spyro from the video game world, but unbeknownst to them, he also helped pull out Sparks, who is Spyro's best friend and also a Firefly, who's going to be voiced by Alan Tudyk. Because I love him and he should be in things. By the way, Elijah Wood is just playing Elijah Wood in this. Everybody's just playing themselves because it's actually our world that he's sucked into, that he's pulled into. So Spyro, who's voiced by Tom Kenny, who's been voicing Spyro since the second Spyro game in 1999, escapes from Elijah Wood's clutches and needs to find a way back to his home. While running from Cavill and Manganiello, Spyro's hit by a car. The driver, who is played by Chris O'Dowd, who you might know from Bridesmaids and the IT Crowd, and his wife, Judy Greer, who put her in more things, help Spyro to recover from the accident, and then he tells them all about what happened. O'Dowd remembers Spyro from the games he played as a kid, but when he goes to check out the game, he finds that it's disappearing. Without Spyro there for people to play as, the whole world is beginning to fade away, and people's memory of it. So that game is just Back to the Futuring, where as long as Spyro's in our world, that game is leaving people's consciousness, almost as if it never existed.
Okay.
So it's really important Spyro gets back home soon. O'Dowd and Greer must help Spyro and Sparks find a way home and not only save his life, but save the history of a beloved PlayStation game. All while Wood, Manganiello, and Cavill try to stop them so they can keep Spyro as a pet. This is going to be a mix of live action in the realm of like the Sonic the Hedgehog movies or Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Spyro is going to keep all of his abilities from the game, the first 2 games. I don't want to get all crazy in the Skylander series. So he can breathe fire, he can move really fast to bash people with his head and his horns, and he can glide. Even though he's a dragon, he cannot fly. He can only glide after getting a gust of air or jumping off something high. This is going to have about a $50 million budget, because I need it to be spent mostly on the CGI, because I want Spyro to look like he does in the games. I don't want it to be a Sonic the Hedgehog thing where they try to redesign him for the real world. He needs to look like he does in the games. Now, My cast. Everybody knows who Elijah Wood is. He was in Lord of the Rings. He was in Sin City. Joe Manganiello, he was in Magic Mike XXL, the second one. He also was Deathstroke in the Snyderverse. He's also a big, huge nerd. Huge D&D fan. Huge. Henry Cavill was obviously Superman in the Justice League stuff. He's also a huge gaming nerd. Then Alan Tudyk does the voice for tons of things. He was Hey Hey in Moana. He was Sonny the Robot from iRobot. Chris O'Dowd is, as I mentioned, from Bridesmaids and the IT Crowd. He's not a well-known name, but he's a really good actor who I think deserves more parts. Judy Greer was in the new Halloween movies. She was the best friend in 13 Going on 30. She's been in a ton of stuff. I love her. Put her in all the things. And my director is going to be Andrew Stanton, who works for Disney Pixar. He directed things like WALL-E, Finding Nemo, John Carter, and Finding Dory. He's done a few more recent movies as well, like For All Mankind. And he can do live action stuff, but he can also obviously do animated. So I think he'd have a really good mix of those elements. Because I need it to be lighthearted, but also kind of have some gravitas to it. We're losing out on a beloved IP that I know I played as a kid, and when they re-released it in 2018 with all three of the original Spyro games together as Spyro Reignited, I went through every single one of them, 100%, platinum trophy, everything. I can't get enough of Spyro, and I think it would be a tragedy if we ever lost it. And that's where the idea came from, of him getting pulled from his home world, and because of that, we might lose that game permanently.
Real quick.
Yes.
What rating would you give your movie?
Probably a PG-13. I think if Spyro's going to be breathing fire and beating up some bad guys, you're going to have a little cartoon violence, and we're going to have to boost that rating slightly.
Okay.
And that's it. That's the movie I would like to see. So I know it's not based off the video games, but it's starring a video game character.
Nice. I want to see your movie.
I think both pitches were a lot of fun. Hollywood, hit us up. Call me. Yeah. You can find me on IMDb. It's all there. I'm there. I've worked on things. I think it'd be a lot of fun. But let us know in the comments below what your pitches are. What video games do you want to see turned into a movie? If you want to tell us what your movie's going to look like, who would you star as those characters? Please let us know. We'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next Wednesday with a whole new episode of the Does It Hold Up show. And we're talking 1980s Airplane. And until then, guys, keep watching movies.
Bye.